What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mike's Reef Tank. On today's episode, we're going to talk about 5 visual signs that tell you that your tank is maturing and that you are on your way. One of the first signs that your tank is maturing is taking a look at your sand bed. As your tank matures, you should be starting to see these little pockets within your sand. These pockets are full of nitrifying bacteria, or the building blocks of your aquarium. These guys are the ones that cycle your tank. Make sure your ammonia turns into nitrite and then into nitrate. Another sign that your tank is maturing is finding small reef critters. As your tank matures, you'll end up seeing critters on your glass, on your rock. Got a couple pictures here of stuff for you. The first one I've got here is some hydroids on my glass. Getting to try out my new macro lens. This is pretty cool. Getting to see a nice picture of the hydroid. These things are closely related to jellyfish, and they'll appear on your glass, on your rock. They're not going to do anything to any of your corals or any inhabitants in your tank, and they'll just exist in your aquarium. Pretty cool little guy. Another thing you'll start seeing in your aquarium are isopods. These critters probably came in on a frag or in my macroalgae, because I got some Chaeto back in my refugium. And these guys like to eat detritus and diatoms, so they're great to have in the aquarium. One little critter that I added to the tank on my own were copepods. I added 3 different species to help with the diatom problem I was having. Take a look at them. These are the ones free floating in the water. They also go into your sand bed, on your rocks, and your glass. They'll help feed your corals, and there's certain fish like mandarin dragonets that only eat copepods, so they're good to have in your aquarium if you decide to go with one of those. One other thing I've seen growing in my aquarium showing maturity are these little circular white worms. You can see those on this rock. They came in on the frog spawn and have quickly started growing all over the aquarium. Now they have a little kind of like a feather duster. They'll filter your water. They won't harm anything. Just another good critter to have in your tank. In this picture close up, you can see all these little moving isopods on the rocks. I also have some amphipods. They came in on the Chaeto as well, but I couldn't find any for this video. Seeing all these creatures growing in your aquarium and multiplying is a great sign that your tank is maturing. Up next, we got nuisance algae growth. As your tank matures, you'll get different kinds of algae. You'll start out with diatoms, and normally after diatoms, you'll start having some hair algae. Some pictures of that. Depending on how your nitrates and phosphates go, you'll end up getting some cyanobacteria as well in your aquarium. This is all part of your aquarium growing and populating biofilms on your rock, getting those beneficial bacteria in there. I ended up adding some Brightwell's Microbacter 7 to help bring more diversity to my bacteria in the aquarium. Really helped with the cyano. Added some cleanup crew to take care of the other algae and the copepods for the diatoms, as I mentioned before. And these are all things that will develop as your tank matures. Hopefully within a couple months you'll be able to have that biodiversity develop and all these nuisance algae will go away. Up next on signs that your tank is maturing is the growth of Coralline Algae. Now in my tank I use the Carib Sea live rock, so it's painted to look like Coralline Algae, but it doesn't actually contain coralline. I did not buy any products to introduce coralline to the aquarium. You can buy coralline in a bottle. You could buy live rock that already has coralline on it, but instead I went off having Coralline algae growing on the frag plugs that I introduced into the aquarium, as you can see on this one for the Cyphastria, and that's going to be my source to get it into the aquarium. And as the aquarium matures, you'll get more of that growing on your back walls, on your glass, and anywhere else inside the aquarium. In the past I used Carib Sea Purple Up, and that really helped with the growth of the Coralline algae. This time I'm just going to let it go on its own and develop as the tank matures. Last but not least, we got coral growth in your aquarium. As your tank matures and your water chemistry is dialed in, you'll get some growth on your corals. I've started to see this with the original 4 that I put in this aquarium. First up, I'm showing the frog spawn. The main head is starting to split into 2, and you've got these new heads growing on the sides of the calcified skeleton. You can see some more isopods. I got them everywhere. Pretty cool shots. Next, I wanted to show my zoanthids. This is my original 3 that I got. They're starting to grow new polyps, as you can see by the 2 in the base, which don't have as much color as the ones above, but you can see that they're growing. Zoanthids will grow out into a carpet pattern, so I'm hoping these will take over this whole rock structure. These are my pulsing zinnias. As you can see, there's probably 6 or 7 clusters now. It started with just 1 cluster, so seeing this development, yes, this is characterized as a weed coral, but the tank's doing good if we got this thing growing this quick. As always with pulsing zinnia, make sure you put them on an island so they don't take over your entire tank, and they'll just stick to that rock I put them on. Last coral I want to show some growth on is my Montipora cap. This thing is slowly colored up very well. On the left side, you can tell it's starting to cover the rock. You can see there's a couple little nibble points. I'm trying to figure out which fish has been nibbling on it. But it's definitely gotten a lot more color, and it's steadily growing. It's a great sign. Now, all 5 of these signs are great indications that your tank is maturing and developing. Other things to take a look at are your fish and your inverts to make sure they're healthy and you're not having any casualties. I've had a couple of casualties in this aquarium. One, I lost a Nerite snail, which wasn't too bad. And I lost my cleaner shrimp, Jacques, during my big cyano battle. I don't know if the cyano was the cause for it, or he had maybe a bad molt. He was molting about every time I did a water change, so I didn't see any issues with that. When the cyano started getting really bad in the aquariums, when he started acting a little funny, so I don't know. Has anyone had these issues with cleaner shrimp and cyano? It just doesn't seem like something that should have affected him. Yeah, but definitely check out the health of your fish. Make sure they're eating, they're swimming correctly, doing their habits that they're supposed to be doing. Make sure your inverts are healthy and doing their job. And that's a great sign that your tank is maturing and it's able to house an ecosystem, which is basically what you're doing here. You're building your own little ecosystem. It's really awesome. Alright, that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, like, comment down below, and subscribe for more reefing goodness. And as always, happy reefing.